ॐ वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतो वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तमाविद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। You can repeat. नत्वा श्री भारती तीर्थ
नत्वा श्री भारती तीर्थ
विद्यारण्यमुनीश्वरौ
विद्यारण्यमुनीश्वरो
धीमहे पंचदशीम्
पंचदशीं
कैवल्यपदसिद्धये नमः श्री शंकरानंद
नमः शंकरानंद
गुरुपादाम्बुजन्मने
गुरुपादाम्बुजन्मने
सविलास महामोह ग्रासैककर्मणे The author Vidyaranya Muni starts the Grantha Panchadasha Prakaranam with the Mangala shloka, offering namaskara to his Guru. And Guru is Shankarananda. Shankarananda Guru. Shankaranandaha eva Guru. Vidyaranya Munehe Guru. Offering namaskara to Guru is offering namaskara to Bhagavan, Ishvara. Jagat Karanam, that Ishvara Brahma is Sakshat Guru. Bhakti to Guru is Bhakti to Ishvara. There is a Guru Shloka which says that Guru alone has become this Jagat, this Karya Karanatmaka. Nana Rupamidam Vishwam Na Kenapi Asti Bhinnata Karya Karana Rupaya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Iti. So Guru Namaskara, the author, does through the Mangala Charanam. And the word Guru, we know, Ru Shabdaha tu Andakaraha Syat. Ru Shabdaha Tan Nirodakaha. Andakara Niroditvat Guru Ityabhidiyate. The Guru is one who removes the Andakara. Andakara is the Ajnanam is the Andakara, Nisha. In Bhagavad Gita is Ya Nisha Sarvabhutana. Ajnanam with regard to the Paramartha Tattva. That Andakara, that Ajnanam, Ajnana Nivartakaha Guru. Therefore, offering namaskara to the Guru. Therefore, Guru Bhakti, we can infer the Guru Bhakti of Vidyaranya Muni from this Mangala Charanam. Yasya deve parabhaktihi yatha deve tatha guru. Tasyaite katita hirtaha prakashante mahatmanaha. As you have the devotion for the Lords, so you have devotion for the Guru. If you have, then in that person all the Upanishad Tattvam will automatically manifest. So that Bhakti, Guru Bhakti. And in the next shloka also he says Guru Pada Sevaya Nirmala Chetasam Iti. So therefore the Mangala Charana shloka is extended even to the next shloka. Before going to the next shloka, the first shloka already we have seen. As I told, this shloka, the second line of the shloka as well as the first line is a long word. It's a compound. So a little Samskrita points I'll give, you can note. Those who know Sanskritam, for them, even others who are learning. I have given the Anvaya of this shloka. Namaha. Namaha is a Avyayam. Namaha is a Avyaya Padam, which governs Chaturthi Vibhakti. Therefore, Sri Shankarananda Guru Padambu Janmane, that is one word. Therefore, when we chant, we have to chant completely. We should not break. For the sake of everyone, that's breaking Shankarananda, but it is not correct. Similarly, the second line also, it's a one word. Savilasa Mahamoha Graha Grasaika Karmane. One word. It's a samasa, it's a compound word. So the Namaha, the word governs Chaturthi Vibhakti. Therefore, Sri Shankarananda Guru Padambu Janmane Savilasa Mahamoha Graha Grasaika Karmane. Only three words are there in this shloka. Namaha is one word, which is Avyayam. Sri Shankarananda Guru Padambu Janmane, second word. The third word is Savilasa Mahamoha Graha Grasaika Karmane. Therefore, the Anvaya, Anvaya is writing the words of the shloka. For identifying the words, first you have to do padacheda. Sandhi vicheda we have to do. Sandhi vicheda to be done, finding out the individual words, then arranging them in the order of a prose. So, Savilasa Mahamoga Graha Grasaika Karmane Sri Shankarananda Guru Padam Janmane Namaha. Like in the Namavali, the Namaha comes generally Namaha at the end. Now, even though I've already told some of the Samskrita points, some more. This Savilasa Mahamoha Graha Grasaika Karmane, one word I said. The gender of the word is determined by the last word. Compound, the gender of the word is determined by the last word. Here the last word is karma. Karma is a napumsakalinga. Akarantaha napumsakalingaha. Karman shabdaha karma karmani karmani iti. So when you decline karman shabda, chaturthi vibhakti will be karmane. So the whole word is a napumsakalinga. Napumsakalinga. Pratipadikam is Savilasa Mahamoha Graha Grasaika Karman Shabda. Akaranta Shabda. Akaranta Shabdaha Tasya Chaturthi Vibhakti Rupam Savilasa Mahamoha Graha Grasaika Karmane iti. Similarly, Sri Shankarananda Guru Padambu Janma. That is the Pratipadikam. Akarantaha Shabda. And Chaturthi Vibhakti is Janmane. Janman is a Pratipadikam. Janman Nakaranta Shabda. Janma Janmani Janmani. And Chaturthi Vibhakti is Janmane. Both are Nakaranta Shabdaha. This is a Bhaguvrigi Samasa. The Shabda is Nakaranta. But here it is because it is a Bhaguvrigi. Because it is a Bhaguvrigi and it is Namaskara to the Guru. Guru is Pullinga. Therefore, even though the Karman and Janman, the last word of the word ending with Nakaranta, it is declined like Atman Shabda, Nakaranta, Atmane, Pullinga. Because here Guru is Pullinga. Tasmai Gurave Namaha. Gurave Namaha. And Guru is Shankarananda Guru Padambu Janmane. Savilasa Mahamoha Graha Grasik. Or we can take it as Napumsakalinga. That is better. It is take it as Napumsakalinga itself. Because offering Namaskara to the Pada of the Guru. And the Pada of the Guru is compared to the lotus. Ambu Janma. Compared to the lotus. Lotus is Napumsakalinga. Therefore, to the lotus I offer Namaskara. What lotus? The lotus is the feet of the Guru. Therefore, take it as Napumsakalinga. That is correct. So, therefore, it is Karman and Janman Shabda eva. So now, Sri Shankarananda Guru Pada Ambu Janmane. The words are the Sri is there, Shankarananda Guru Pada Ambu Janmane. Ambuni Janma, Ambu Janma. Ambu is water, Janma is Janma, Ambu Janma. So it is Saptami Tatpurusha Samasa. That's a compound. Within a compound, we have a compound. Ambu Janma. So Ambu Janma. Then Guru Padav is a Guru Pada. Guruho. Guru has got 2 feet. Therefore, Padav. Guruho Padav. Guru Padav. That is Shashti Tatpurusha Samasa. The feet of the Guru is the Ambu Janma, that is lotus. So Guru Padav Eva Ambu Janma. Gurupadavambujanma. Gurupadav plus Ambujanma, that is Sandhi, Ayadi Sandhi. Gurupadavambujanma. So Gurupadambujanma it is. Gurupadambujanma. So Gurupadambujanma Tasmai. This is Gurupadaha eva Ambujanma, that is lotus, that is Karmadariya Samasa. Gurupada, Gurupadambujanma iti. And the name of the Guru is Sri Shankarananda. Shriya Yuktaha Shankaranandaha. Sri Shankaranandaha. Shankaranandaha eva Guru. So Shankarananda is Shankarascha, so Anandascha Shankaranandaha. That is also Karmadharaya Samasa. And Shankarananda is a Guru. Shankarananda eva Guru. Shankarananda Guru. That is also Karmadharaya Samasa. Shriya Yuktaha Shankarananda Guru. Iti. So the individual words we have seen. So Shri Shankara, Shri Shankara, Ananda, Guru, Pada, Ambu, Janma. All these words have to be connected to each other and see what samasa is, that I explain now. Now the second line, Savilasa Mahamoha Graha Grasaika Karmane. Here, Graha Savilasa Mahamoha. Vilasena Sahavartate Savilasaha. Savilasa, then Mahamoha. Mahamoha is that Ajnanam. Mahamoha. Mahamoha is the Ajnanam. Savilasaha eva Mahamogaha. Savilasaha. Savilasa, Vilasa is Karya. So Karya along with the Karanam. Karanam is Ajnanam. Mahamoha. Mahancha, also Mohascha. That is also Karmadharaya. So Savilasaha eva Mahamogaha. Savilasa Mahamogaha Karmadharaya. And that Mahamoha is the Graha. It is the Graha, that is the shark. So Mahamogaha eva Gragaha. For Mahamoga Gragaha, that is also Karmadharaya Samasa. Mahamoga Gragasya Grasanam, that is Grasaha. Grasanam Grasaha. Grasanam Grasaha, that is devouring, consuming, eating, that is Grasanam. So Mahamoha Gragasya Grasaha, Mahamoha Grasaha, that is Shashti Tat Purusha Samasa. And Grasaha, that is Grasanam eva tasya karma, Mukhya karma, Vyaparaha. Therefore, Grasanam eva Mukhyam karma tasmai, that is also Karmadharaya. Therefore, Savilasa Mahamoha Graha Grasaika Grasa Eka Karmani. Eka is, that is the Ekam karma, Mukhyam karma. It doesn't have any other job. The Guru has a job of only removing this Ajnanam, swallowing this Mahamoha, the Ajnanam, along with its Karya. Ajnanam, Ajnana Karya. Ajnana, whatever, in whichever way it manifests, it's Karya. Avidya, this Ajnanat, Kartratvam. Therefore, Kama, Karma, then Karma is Karma Phalam, Janma, that is a Karya. So, he consumes. Mahamoha is a Graha, and along with its Karya, Grasanam, Karoti. Tadeva Mukhya Karma, Guroho Mukhya Karma, Tasmai Namaha iti. This is a grammatical explanation of this shloka. The next one, which we are reading, the first part we have read, and we are discussing about the Anubandha Chatushtaya. Those who follow Sanskritam, the grammatical points, it's fine. Others, don't worry about it. Kalena Bhavati Sarvam. So when you learn Sanskritam, you will understand. Now, this second shloka which we are reading, you can repeat after me. Tatpadam Bhurgadvandva
Tatpadam Bhurgadvandva
Seva Nirmala Chetasam
Seva Nirmala Chetasam
Sukhabodhaya Tattvasya
Sukhabodhaya Tattvasya
Vivekoyam Vidhiyate.
Vivekoyam Vidhiyate.
Vidhiyate. Ayam Vivekaha Vidhiyate. What Viveka? Tattva Viveka Prakaran is the name of this chapter. Therefore, Viveka Prakaranam Vidhiyate. Vidhanam Kriyate. It is Vidhiyate. It is presented. Tattva Vivekaha. That is the title of this chapter. So Tattva Viveka, that is Vidhiyate. It is Vivechanam Kriyate. Vidhiyate means Vivechanam, the discussion. Tattva Vivechanam Kriyate. Asmabhihi, the author says, we will do. Or Maya Kriyate also we can take. And in the first line also, as we saw, Tatpadam Burhadvandva Seva Nirmala Chetasam. Tatpada is Tasya. Tasya Padav. Kasya Padav. Whose feet? Guru's feet. And Guru's feet is compared to Amburukh. Again, Ambuni Roganti Iti Kamalani. Lotus. Kamalam. So Tatpadam Burha Dvandva. Dvandva is pair. Dvandva is pair, a pair of feet. Dvandva is two. So Amburha Dvandva. So Tatpada, Pada is Guroha Padu. Padu eva Amburukh. Padu eva Amburukh. Amburukh is Kamalam, lotus. So Tayoho, Guroho, Dvandvam. That is Yukmam, Kamalam. That Pada Kamale. The feet of the Guru, the lotus feet of the Guru. So, lotus feet of the Guru, Sevaya. Sevaya is by doing Seva to the feet of the Guru. It means Guru Seva, Guru Sushrusha. Archanena, Sevaya is Archanena. Tadvitti Pranipatena. Pariprashtena Sevaya. The Seva, the word is important. Seva gives Chitta Shuddhi. Whether it is Guru Seva or whatever the Seva which the Guru wishes the Shishya to do. All this. So Archanena, Guru Sevaya, Guru Pujaya, Pujanena, Nirmala Chetasam. Chetas is the mind, Manas. The mind becomes Nirmala. Nirgataha, Nirgatam, Malam, Yasmat, from which the Malam, the impurity has gone. That is Karma Yogena Chitta Shuddhihi. So Chitta Shuddhi, Praptyartham. For Chitta Shuddhi. Chitta Shuddhi is Chitta Shuddhi and Upasana. These are required for gaining Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti. So that is what here the author indicates. Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti, the fourfold the qualifications which are required for the pursuit of this Atmajnanam Moksha. So therefore, Nirmala Chetasam. So therefore, Guru Charana Sevaya Vishishta Jnana Sadhakatvena Abhipakamat Nirmala Chetasam Iti Anena Ragadi dosha दूषितः साधन चतुष्टय संपन्नः इति अधिकारी सूच्यते. The adhikaritvam is indicated by this word. Nirmala chetasam, the gaining the chitta shuddhi by neutralizing the raga dvesha. So karma yoga is indicated by the word seva, and the seva is guru seva. By that the person gain the preparedness for gaining this knowledge. Therefore, Nirmala Chetasam. The Chetasam means the mind, referring to the person here. For the one whose mind is free from Mala. That is, who is endowed with, as Bhagavan Krishna says in the Gita, the 20 spiritual disciplines, Amanitvam, Adambitvam, Ahimsa, Kshantirarjam. All those are sadhanam, and the sadhanam itself is equated to sadhyam by Bhagavan Krishna. So, if a person has these 20 spiritual disciplines, if he follows, if that becomes his natural character, then the jnanam is not far away from that person. Being good, amanitvam, adambitvam, humility, and no pride, ahimsa, not hurting. All these are parama gunaha. All these are greater gunas which one has to cultivate. Only when you take situations in life to be very serious, then you get agitated. But if it's all passing clouds, it goes away. Don't take it so seriously. Then the focus should be on cultivating and maintaining this quality. Therefore, those gunas, the person who is rich with those gunas, those qualities, referring to that person. So, Nirmala Chetasam. Tatpadam Burhadvandva Seva Nirmala Chetasam. Tatpada is Tasya Padau Tatpadau. That is Shashti Tatpurusha Samasa. Is feet, 2 feet. And that Padau Eva Amburuk. So Padau Eva Amburuk Amburughe Kamale. That is Karmadare Samasa. The feet are the feet are the lotus. Then that Tayoho Tat Padam Burga Burgayogo Dvandvam. Then that Tat Padam Burga Dvandvasya Seva. Tat Padam Burga Dvandvasya Seva, Tat Padam Burga Dvandva Seva. And Sevaya, Tat Padam Burga Dvandva Sevaya, Nirmala Chetaha. Nirmalam Chetaha Esham Te, referring to the person. That's what Bhagavrigi Samasa. Nirmala Chetas is Bhagavrigi Samasa. Nirmalam Chetaha. Chetaha is Antakaranam. That is the Manas, Manaha, Yasya Saha. Nirmala Chetas. So Tatpadam Burhad Dvandva Sevaya Nirmala Chetaha Yesham, referring to the people, the Bhagavrigi Samasa. The one who has gained the Chitta Shuddhi, the Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti. So Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti is also indicated. Viveka Vairagya Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti Mumukshutvam iti. The Mumukshutvam is also important. Mumukshutvam. Manushyatvam, Mumukshutvam, Mahapurusha Samshrayaha. The Mumukshutvam also is gained when the Samshraya is there with the Mahapurusha. So, Mahapurusha Samshrayaha. The Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampannaha, the Adhikari. So, Jignasu, the Mumukshu. So, referring to the person, the Jignasu is an Adhikari. The one who is committed to the pursuit of moksha. One who has had enough of this samsara, enough, who has said enough to this, then he wants to be free from this bondage, samsara. Not out of hatred, he has gained enough maturity. So therefore, enough of playing with the things of this world. So enough. So now he wants shantihi, he wants to gain the purpose of life, that is called growing out. That is growing out. He has grown out. So therefore, that adhikari, jignasu, mumukshu. First he is a mumukshu. Then by Deva Anugraha, he understands a great transformation has happened, that moksha is only possible by jnanam. Not also by jnanam, only by jnanam. Jnanat eva kaivalyam. Therefore, there is a transformation in the person. The mumukshu becomes a jignasu. Mumukshu is mokta ichuhu, the one who desires to be free. And the moksha is only possible by jnanam. Therefore, now he is interested in gaining jnanam. He becomes a jignasu. Athato brahma jignasa. Brahma jignasa. Not athato brahma mumuksha iti. Mumukshu, many people are mumukshu, but they don't know that moksha is possible only through jnanam. Jnanam is possible only through the pramana vichara, shastra vichara. Shravanena jnanam, jnanena mokshaha. So, not knowing that, many continue to be mumukshu. But knowing that jnanam alone gives me freedom is a big thing. That's a big transformation. Up to that level, a person has to grow, has to arrive at. So, therefore, jignasa. And we don't say also by knowledge a person gains moksha. Moksha is only through jnana. And jnanam is only through shastra shravanam. Shravanam is, that is vichara. Listening to the shastram itself is vichara. It is not just listening, like listening to a shloka or listening to a parayanam. It is listening and we analyze what we listen. We understand what we listen. We assimilate what we listen. Then that manifests in the form of this jnanam over a period of time. When that becomes very strong, you become nishta. That nishta happens, becomes atma nishta, brahma nishtaha iti. So, therefore, jnanena eva mokshaha, that jnanam is only possible by shravanam. Therefore, only we study the shastra. Shastram also should not be studied by oneself. Therefore, Guru Mukhena iti. And Upanishad and all cannot be studied without the Bhashyam. As an introduction to that, all these Prakarana Granthas are studied. Therefore, Acharya Vidyaranya Muni here, out of compassion, Sukhabodhaya, for easy understanding, Sukhabodhaya, Anayasena Jnana Praptaya. Otherwise, why should he write? He doesn't write for himself. He writes for the people. So the compassion for the people who wants to know, who wants to gain, for their understanding, is writing Sukhabodhaya. All the acharyas in the tradition, they write all the granthas out of the compassion, out of love for the sadhakas. Therefore, Sukhabodhaya anayasena jnana praptaya anayasena bodha avaptaye. Tat Sukhabodha, bodha is knowledge. Atma bodha, tattva bodha. And here Acharya says tattvasya. Tattvasya iti yukte tattvasya vivekasya. Tattva vivekasya. Brahma tattvasya. Brahma tattvasya vivekaha vivechanam asmabhihi kriyate. Asmabhihi kriyate iti. Sukhabodaya sukena bodaha sukhabodaha. Anayasena bodaha. Bodaha is knowledge. Tasmai, for that purpose. That way chaturthi vibhakti. Sukhabodaya. Sukena bodaha is tritiya tatpurusha. Sukhabodaya, the word is chaturthi. For the purpose of gaining this knowledge easily. Not shamena. Anayasena, without ayasa. There is no ayasa, there is no effort, for easy understanding. For easy understanding of what? Tattvasya. Tattvasya is tasya bhavaha tattvam. Tat referring to the Brahma. Brahma. So Brahma tattvam. Brahma tattvam. That vivekaha. Brahma is the vastu, the Jneyam vastu. But that Brahma, that is a vastu, but it is taken to be avastu, or avastu is taken to be vastu. There is a confusion. Therefore, viveka is required. Why viveka is required? Viveka is required when there is a confusion, when there is a mix-up. Mix-up what? Mix-up in terms of our understanding. Mix-up in our buddhi. Not really mixed up. So, therefore, viveka Shakti, that everybody is endowed with buddhi. The buddhi stands for Viveka Shakti. So that Viveka has to be invoked. One has to invoke that Viveka Shakti and analyze what is Nityam, what is Anityam, what is Vastu, what is Avastu, what is Atma, what is Anatma. That Vidiyate. Even Sukha Dukkha Viveka also. Sometimes we take a thing which is initially pleasurable, but later it gives pain. But we go by the first experience, the present experience, not analyzing. So therefore, with regard to Sukha Dukkha also, Viveka is required in the Vyavahara. The Viveka Shakti. Then only it's a human being. Ahara Nidra Bhayamaitunam cha. Samanya metat Pashubir Narana. Buddhihi Tesha Adiko Visheshaha. The Buddhi stands for Viveka Shakti. The Viveka has to be applied. So therefore, Raga Ragitanam Adhikarinam Jignasunam Sukena Tattva Jnana Avapti Siddhahe Parabrahmanaha Panchakosha Vivechanam Adhikritya Tattva Viveka Namakam Idam Prakaranam Virachyate iti Acharya says. Therefore, Tattva Viveka Nama, this Prakaranam is presented by the Acharya there. For what? For easy understanding of Tattva Jnana. For whom? For the Adhikari, Jignasu, who is free from Ragadvesha, Adhikari iti. Then, Sukhabodaya Vivekoyam Vidhiyate. Now, through this shloka, the Adhikari, by mentioning the Adhikari, the Sadhana Chatushtaya is presented. Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti is presented. That is, who is Adhikari? Adhikari. Then the qualities required on the part of the Adhikaris, that have to be, you have to bring it from Tattvabodha. Sadhana Chatushtayam. Sadhana Chatushtayam Kim. So Viveka, Vairagya, etc. You have to bring it. Now, another thing also, another Chatushtayam also, Acharya indirectly brings in here. What is that? It's called Anubandha Chatushtayam. Sadhana Chatushtayam is the fourfold qualifications required for an adhikari. Anubandha Chatushtayam, it is the fourfold factors, the connections are there with regard to this, the Grantha and the Grantha Vishaya and its connection to the adhikari, etc. The fourfold factors, fourfold connections. Vishaya, Prayojana, Sambandha, Adhikari. Any text will have Anubandha Chatushtayam. The author has to mention in the beginning what this text deals with. Who is the Adhikari? What is the connection between the Adhikari and the text? And what is the Palam, Prayojanam of the text? What is the Vishaya of the text? What is the Sambandha between them? All this have to be mentioned in the beginning of the text. So, based on that, the reader, not the reader, the students can take up the text for study. It's called Anubandha Chatushtayam. We simply present it in fourfold connections, that is Vishaya, Prayojana, Sambandha, Adhikari iti. Adhikari is the person who is qualified for this knowledge, moksha. Who is Adhikari? That already mentioned. Nirmala Chetasam stands for the Adhikari. And Vishaya, what is the subject matter? Tattvasya Vivekaha. That word Tattvasya Vivekaha indicates Vishaya, the subject matter. Tattva Viveka, that is the Prakaranam, Tattva Viveka Prakaranam. The subject matter is Tattva Vivekaha, discriminative inquiry into what is truth and what is not truth. Truth has to be, for the truth has to be known, the untruth has to be also to be known and dismissed. That is by Vivechanam Vivekaha. Adhikari already seen. Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampannaha Adhikari, who is interested in gaining moksha. And Prayojanam is, so many texts are there. The main pramanam is Upanishad. Then why do we need this? Sukhabodhaya. That is a Prayojanam. Prayojanam anudishyana mandopi pravartate. Why should a person engage in any activity without expecting any prayojanam, any benefit? What is the prayojanam of this? For easy understanding. Here the author, you will see how he presents the topic easily by giving a lot of drishtanta, the examples, and dwells on the topic for in detail, so that he himself raises doubts and clarifies the doubts. So whatever a sadhaka, a student is supposed to do, the author himself does. So therefore, Sukha Bodhaya, Anayasena, Jnana Avaptaye iti. So that is a Prayojana. So Vishaya, Prayojana, Adhikari, three things are over. What is the fourth thing? Sambandha. Sambandha means connection. Connection between what? Connection between the varieties of the pairs. What are the pairs here? I, the knower, the pramata is there. That is one factor. The grantha, the Panchadasi is there. That is the second factor. And the third factor is Brahma. Brahma also is the third factor. Then the knowledge of Brahma, that is the fourth factor. And moksha is the fifth factor. So, Pramata, the knower, the Grantha, the textbook, Brahma, knowledge, that is Jnanam, then moksha. 5 things are there. Now we are going to see the sambandha between these 5. Between the Pramata and the Grantha, the connection should be known. Pramata, the knower, and the textbook. The one who wants to know, the knower, I should be interested in reading the textbook. If I'm not interested, then I will not even pick up the book for study. So the connection. Therefore, the pramata must be interested in the textbook. And the textbook here, it's not really a textbook, it is a pramanam. Shabdatmaka grantaha, it is a pramanam. Pramanam in the form of words. Therefore, the pramata use the pramanam. This grantha is also pramanam because what it talks is the same as the Shruti. Shruti, what Shruti says, that only the author presents. Therefore, it's a pramanam. So, pramata is there, pramanam is there. So, pramata use the pramanam for what? To gain knowledge. Therefore, there is a sambandha, pramana, pramatra sambandha. I, the knower, and the textbook is the pramanam, the means of knowledge. So, the knower and the means of knowledge. That is the sambandha, that is the connection. One connection. Next connection is between the book and Brahma, Atma. What is the connection between the book, the Grantha, Panchadasi, and Brahma? The Grantha reveals Brahma. Therefore, it is a Pratipadaka. Pratipadakaha Granthaha. Therefore, Pratipadaka, Pratipadya Sambandha. The revealer, revealed Sambandha. The book is a revealer, and what is revealed is Brahma. So, between the Grantha and the Brahma, the connection is revealer, revealed connection. And between the Pramanam and the knowledge, Pramana is this Grantha, and the knowledge, the Jnanam, Brahma Jnanam, the connection is Janya Janaka Sambandha. Jnana Jnapaka Sambandha. Janaka is Pramanam. Pramana is Janaka. What Janaka? Jnana Janakam Pramanam. We know Arthavata, Anadikata, Abadita, Arthavata, Jnana Janakam Pramanam. So Pramanam generates knowledge. The knowledge is generated, it is Janya. Jnanam is Janyam. Pramanam is Janaka. Therefore, Pramanam produces Jnanam. Therefore, the connection is Janaka, Janya Janaka Sambandha. Jnana Jnapaka Sambandha. Then the connection between the Jnanam and Moksha. What is a Sambandha? Jnanam is Moksha. Jnanam eva Mokshaha. Therefore, what Sambandha there? Aikya Sambandha. That is Aikyam. Aikya. Jnanam eva Mokshaha. Therefore, knowledge is Moksha. Therefore, Aikya Sambandha. This is the connection. So, the connection between the five factors. So, therefore, the fourfold the connections, that is Anubandha, also it is known, also inferred from this shloka. By taking one word, all the other things can be brought in. The Veda Purva Baha, the first section of the Veda Purva, it gives the knowledge of rituals, Yagadi, Yaga Yajnadi, the karma. That is Veda Purva. It is not the end. Veda Purva gives the knowledge of performing rituals. By the knowledge is not the end. It gives knowledge, and the knowledge what you gained has to be put into practice. You have to work it. You have to do it. Veda Purva says, by doing a particular karma, you gain Swarga Loka. The knowledge of Swarga is gained by Veda Purva. For example, if you take, but the knowledge of Swarga will not take you to Swarga. Veda Purva presents the knowledge of Swarga, but the knowledge of Swarga will not take you to Swarga Loka. You have to perform karma. Karma has to follow the knowledge. First knowledge and then action. Any action is preceded by Jnanam. So Jnanam is there, but Jnanam alone cannot give you Swarga. The Jnanam has to be converted into action, the karma, then it gives you Swarga. But what about in Vedanta? Vedanta knowledge is final. There is nothing, no doing after jnanam. No karma is required. After gaining jnanam, I have to do karma iti na. So that's why it's called, that is why it's called Vedanta. It is Veda Anta. It is Jnana Kanda. It is called Jnana Kanda. No karma is involved. So Jnane eva parisamapyate. It ends with, culminates only in Jnanam. So there is no doing involved. So therefore, for this knowledge, gaining this knowledge, for present, the author presents is this jnanam by mentioning what are all the things required on the part of the adhikari and the fourfold factors anubandha chatushtayam, which are connected to this grantha, the text. So the clear purpose of the text is mentioned by the author. So the first two shlokas are the introductory shloka, Mangalacharanam and Anubandha Chatushtayam, and Sadhana Chatushtayam, the Adhikari, etc. Then the Grantha starts with the third shloka. We will read. Shabdasparshadayo Vedya
Shabdasparshadayo Vedya
Vaichitra Jagare Pratak
Vaititra Jagare Pratak
Tato Vibhakta Tatsambit
Tato Vibhakta Vid
Aikarupya Navidyate
Aikarupya Navidyate
Aikya Aikarupyat na vidyate. Rupyat na vidyate. Sandhi, you have to first split to understand the individual words, identifying the vibhakti, then doing anvaya, then doing samasa. That we will see. I will tell you in the next class. Just tell you the simple meaning of this shloka. So, as I told, the subject matter starts from this shloka. Subject matter is Tattva Viveka. The author, first he says, it points out that there is the aikyam, ekarupyat, ekarupam asti. But oneness is there. Between what? Between the samsari jiva and the samsari Ishvara. That is the tatparyam of the Vedanta. So it is to be known, the knowledge. There is no doing involved. That is why it is jnane parisamapyate. Sir, tasmat sarvakilam dharma jnane parisamapyate. Akilam karma dharma jnane parisamapyate, culminates in knowledge alone. So there is ekarupa. There is oneness. Aikarupyat na binnate. The oneness between the jiva and Ishvara. That is what the tatparyam. And for that, first you have to take up the jiva for discussion. Analyze the nature of jiva. What is this swarupa, jiva swarupa? What is presently understood? What is wrong with that? And what is the correction required? What is its swarupa of jiva? Shastram says jiva is satchit anandaha. But I take jiva to be a samsari. He is a sukha dukkhi. He is never steady. Always is moves up and down. So, but Shastram says he is sat chit anandaha. Satyam jnanam anantam Brahma. Brahma is Satya Jnanam Anantam. Brahma is Sat, Brahma is Chit, Brahma is Anantaha. And that Brahma is this Jiva also. That is what the Shastram says. The author says that Jiva Swarupa is Sachidananda. The Tatparyam of Vedanta is presented as by the author as the Jiva Swarupa is Sachidananda. Jiva is Sat. Sat means what? It Trikale Tishtati iti Sat. Sat means that which doesn't change. It's a changeless existence. Nityam. Nityam is Kalena na Baditam, not negated by time, not bound by time. Nityam is not eternal. Nityam, the right translation, it is not bound by time. What is always is Trikale Tishtati. Bhute api asit. Vartamane api asti. Bhavishyati api Vishyati eva sadas. That's why it is Trikale Tishtati. Nityaha. So, I, the Jiva of the nature of changelessness, there is no change. I am the witness of all the change. I don't change. Because I exist changelessly. If I exist changelessly, then I must be Chit, because I know I is Jnana Swarupaha, it is Chit, knowledge. And I, as Chit, Chaitanyam, the consciousness, the witness of all the changes, which I do not undergo any change. Therefore, in spite of change, I don't change. So that is a real Ananda, because there is no change in me. Because change only causes Sukham as well as Dukkham. The change is positive, but no change is really complete, because always it can be improved upon. There is always can always be bettered. So nobody wants to be bettered. He wants to be that which cannot be bettered further. What is that? That only when you are Sat Chit. Therefore Ananda. That is its Ananda. So Satchit Ananda is Jiva Swarupa is Satchit Ananda is what the Shastram says, and it is here the author, it presents that logically. It presents logically. Shastra Sammata Yuktya. The author presents logically in keeping with the Shastra. That is, the Nityatvam of Jiva is going to be presented, I, the Jiva, Aham Nityaha. Why I am Nityaha? Because Chit is Nityam, unchanging. It doesn't vary. So, Nityam, the timeless. Consciousness is timeless, doesn't bound by time. So, timeless existence, that is myself. To present that, the author, first he takes up the Jagrat Avastha. Jagare is Jagrat Avastha. So the author takes up waking state for proving this. Now in the waking state, in the Jagrat Avastha, we perceive so many things. The things undergo change. Chit, the consciousness, also exists. Does it undergo change? It doesn't undergo any change. For example, I see a lotus. So, Netrena Kamala Drishti, the lotus I see. That's a lotus sight. And the lotus sight gives lotus consciousness. When there is a perception, the perception of lotus gives lotus consciousness. The perception of a tree gives tree consciousness. The perception of pot, ghata, gives thought consciousness. The perception of pata, the cloth, is cloth consciousness. The object of consciousness change, but the consciousness doesn't change. The consciousness, which is the adhara, which is the adhisthana. In fact, that is a proof for the presence of lotus. If that is not there, how can I perceive lotus? How can I perceive vriksha, the tree? How can I perceive gata, pata, ityadi, vastu? So, lotus knowledge, consciousness is there, therefore, again, the lotus knowledge. The external object, in the Jagrat Avastha, what I perceive, it gains existence because of, it gains existence with the object of the consciousness. If we take a particular thought, a tree thought, I see a tree, a vriksha, a tree thought. It has got two things. One is the Namarupa. And that Namarupa shines in Chit. It is the consciousness is reflected in the vritti. So, Namarupa and the reflection of this Chaitanyam in the vritti. Namarupa is the vritti, the Namarupa of the Vastu, the object. And the Namarupa and the vritti objectifies the Namarupa, and the Chaitanyam reflects in the vritti. So, two things are there for the perception of anything. Already we discussed in Tattva this. That is, the knowledge of an object takes place by the vritti vyapti and pala vyapti. The vritti, the thought, envelops the object, and the consciousness reflected in the thought gives you the pala, the knowledge of an object. There are so many objects. Objects are many. How do you know the objects are many? Because there are relevant corresponding thought form is there. So the objects are many. And experience, it proves the variety and multiplicity of objects. Therefore, objects are there, objects are many. Where? In Jagrat Avastha. You perceive so many objects. Vedyaha means object of knowledge. Shabdasparshadayo Vedyaha. Vedyaha means objects of knowledge. Objects of knowledge are available where? Jagrat Avastha. How many are there available? Sabdasparshadayaha. The objects of knowledge can be gained through Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, through all the Pancha Jnanendriyani. So each Jnanendriya stands for each perception. Shabda by Shrotrendriya, Sparsha by Tugendriya, skin, Rupa by Netra, then Rasa by the tongue, Rasanendriya, Gandha by Nasika. So through Pancha Jnanendriyani, there are objects of knowledge, and the objects of knowledge are Vaichitriyat. They are distinct, they are pratak. Each object is different, is distinct, and they are Vaichitriyat. Vaichitriyat, it is peculiar, each distinct. Vaichitriyat, distinct, peculiar. The word Vaichitriyat you would have heard. Where Tejasyantarivankuro jagadidham pranirvikalpam punaha maya kalpita desha kala kalana vaichitra chitri kritam vaichitri. This maya kalpita desha kala kalana vaichitri kritam. Dakshinamurti stotra. Maya viva vijrumbhayatyapa Epimaha yogi vayasvechaya tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye namagidam Shri Dakshinaru Murtaye iti. The Vaichitriya, the objects are distinct from one another. Many objects are there, multiplicity of objects are there, and therefore there are different perceptions through the Pancha Jnanendriyani. All this, the perception with regard to the objects, the perception, the knowledge changes. But what about the consciousness? The sambit, the word for consciousness here it is sambit. The author uses the word sambit. Tato vibhakta tat sambit. 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 Sambit means chaitanyam. Tat sambit, that consciousness. Tataha vibhaktaha, distinct from that. Distinct from the perception. Objects may change in the Jagrata Avastha, variety of objects. Kintu sambit, tataha vibhaktaha, different from that, distinct from that. This ekarupyat sambit, the sambit which has got ekarupa, aikarupa, ekasya bhavam. Ekasya bhavam aikya. That ekarupa, that sambit which is one, which there are no many sambit, there are no many consciousness. Consciousness is only one. Tat na vidyate, that do not vary, do not change. Chaitanyam do not change with regard to the object of perception. That change, iti kshanikavada, the Buddhist, shunyavada, kshanikavada, they argue. That argument has got many fallacies. Kshanikavada, it's momentary consciousness. Consciousness is momentary. Then there will not be memory of that. Lot of it has got its many fallacies are there. So for Buddhist Shunyavadi, Kshanikavadis, the sambit is Kshanika. It means it undergoes changes. But what we say is it is ekarupyat na vidyate. It is one and doesn't undergo change with the object of perception. So in every perception, this bodham, pratibodham, viditam, matam, in every bodha, in every knowledge, this sambit, this chit is present and that doesn't undergo any change. Iti Shruti Sammata Yuktya, the author presents the Swarupa of Jiva. Jiva Swarupa is this sambit, this chit, chaitanya iti. We will see more on this. We will see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanta Shanta Shantihi. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी. धन्यवाद.
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 धन्यवाद.